You know, the older I get, the more I realize how many people out there won't watch a single movie that's older than them. That's a tragedy considering most movies released nowadays are trash, but that's why I'm here, so let's rectify this crime against God and good taste. Because today, the Movie Howze is here to retro-recommend.
Do you know that I've even had producers recut my movies?
I hate when that happens.
Movie making is at the crossroads of art and profit. The studios versus the creatives playing tug-of-war all the way up to a film's release. So unless you have the means to go independent, or you're enough of a critical darling to be left alone working within low budgets, you're at the mercy of the moneymen. Now, it would be easy to say this is a crime against art every single time said moneymen force changes upon a filmmaker's vision, but sometimes like a broken clock, the studios are in fact right. The changed endings to both, for example, The Exorcist 3 and Little Shop of Horrors ended up making better movies, but most times, yeah, the producers and studios are dead-ass wrong. From Superman 2 to Aliens, Brazil to the Snyder Cut, the song remains the same. Director's cuts of these flicks come out later on, are widely considered improvements, sometimes vastly so, over their compromised theatrical cuts, making everyone wonder what the hell the studios were even thinking. One of the clearest and frankly saddest examples of this phenomenon is Ridley Scott's Kingdom of Heaven. Set after the Second Crusade, when the Christians controlled Jerusalem, this religious epic focuses on Balian, a blacksmith whose faith has been rocked by his wife's suicide following the stillbirth of their child. He's looking for absolution and possibly a way to alleviate his wife's position in hell, given their Christian faith. That's when Godfrey, an aged Christian knight and Baron of Ibelin, seeks the blacksmith out, informing him that he is his illegitimate son, and that he wishes to take him under his wing to become a knight and future lord himself. So Balian travels to the Holy Land to find himself a key piece on a politically and theologically fueled chessboard, alongside many other players. At the head of each side of the board are kings trying to maintain an uneasy peace as those around them clamor for holy war. As released back in 2005, Kingdom of Heaven made a bad first impression on critics and audiences. Despite its obvious visual craftsmanship, many found it to be a hollow spectacle, as if its soul and character had been cut out. They didn't realize how right they were, because Fox had 45 minutes cut from the movie so they could market it more along the lines of a sword and sandals flick. It's not that. Even if it has some amazing action set pieces, with special note on the siege of Jerusalem that takes up most of the film's third act. And that's the thing about Ridley Scott, as well known and as celebrated a director as he is. He's just as famous for having studios fuck over his final edits. Thankfully, in this instance, he was able to convince Fox to have two separate cuts made in tandem. The studio's mandated theatrical cut, and his director's cut, which was released onto physical media about a year later. It is a testament to film editing. The two cuts, while sharing the same narrative spine, are completely different animals. Make no mistake, the theatrical cut of Kingdom of Heaven is indeed a hot mess. Those missing 45 minutes contain vital character moments, motivations, revelations, and one key subplot was excised that is so integral to a character's arc that it becomes incomprehensible without it. I'm just trying to stress how much you shouldn't even bother with the theatrical cut. Yes, this means the flick clocks in at just over 3 hours, but seriously, you won't regret it. And what makes this movie for me isn't the gorgeous production design, Harry Gregson Williams' beautiful score, John Matheson's stunning cinematography. It's not the weighty, brutal sword fights. It ain't even Ridley Scott's direction. They're all righteous, no doubt, but what has me coming back for so many rewatches is screenwriter William Monahan's cast of characters and the fantastic dialogue he puts in their mouths. Led by Orlando Bloom, an actor that gets a bad rap, but I think he does a fine job here as the morose but good-hearted Balian. It helps that he's surrounded by an absolutely dizzyingly stellar ensemble, including the likes of Liam Neeson, Eva Green, Jeremy Irons, Brendan Gleeson, Kevin McKidd, David Thewlis, Michael Sheen, Martin Sokus, Alexander Siddig, Ghassem Massoud, a blink and you'll miss him Ian Glenn, and Edward Norton on the DL as Leper King Baldwin IV, the best character of the whole movie. This flick has so many lines that have stuck with me, ranging from the ridiculously masculine,
"I say he's innocent of the charge. If you say he's guilty, then we'll fight. And God will decide the truth of it,"
to the theologically profound, filling character interactions with incredible substance.
I've lost my religion.
I put no stock in religion. By the word religion, I've seen the lunacy of fanatics of every denomination be called the will of God. I've seen too much religion in the eyes of too many murderers. Holiness is in right action.
Sure, the action scenes kick all kinds of ass, but the most riveting moments for me are just like simple one-on-one conversations between characters. Okay, that's all fine and good, some of you may say, but how much of what transpires on screen actually happened? Because while flicks like Braveheart, 300, Gladiator, they're all pretty tits, they are all heavily fictionalized. And in regards to historical accuracy, Kingdom of Heaven fares, But either way, it shouldn't be paramount. Balian of Ibelin was a knight baron, and was a key figure in the siege of Jerusalem of 1187, but the personal story he has here is almost entirely fabricated for the purpose of anchoring an expansive story around a clear human center. The actual events and characters surrounding said anchor, though, are pretty accurate, with embellishments here and there because the goal should be to strive for historical authenticity over historical accuracy. A movie should be more concerned about its story and its themes. I mean, for God's sakes, there's a character here that's heavily implied to be an angel of the Lord. You're a fool if you go to art seeking history. Balian's journey, his internal spiritual struggle, and the eventual resurrection of his convictions really resonates with viewers, especially men. It doesn't matter how true to history his story is here. Storytellers use the lies of fiction to tell deeper truths. Because it's no accident this movie came out when it did with the subject matter it chose to tackle. Kingdom of Heaven is as much about the Crusades as it is about how that theological conflict still haunts us post 9/11. Modern retellings, or more accurately rewritings of history, paint the Christians as the bad guys in the Crusades. Even this movie, especially in its theatrical cut, suffers from elements of this academic brain rot, portraying the Christians as at war with themselves, the zealous extremists out for blood, pitted against the rational, godly men simply there to defend the Holy Land from an existential threat. I would be more upset if the movie was completely one-sided, but it does show honorable Christians and Muslims, on top of the quacks on both sides willing to use their religion as an excuse to slaughter those different from them. Which for sure, this even-handedness is as naive as a coexist bumper sticker, but there's still some truth there. That faith in God and man's dogma do not always sync up, that violence committed vainly in God's name does not justify said actions in this life or the next, and that, in the end, we're all supposed to be praying to the same God. As someone who walked away from faith in his youth, having witnessed firsthand the weakness and corruption of some within it, a movie like Kingdom of Heaven reminds us that while there is indeed bad actors in every denomination, it is all the more prudent on the individual to rise above and be an exemplar as a true follower of Christ. This movie, in a not insignificant way, helped me return to my faith. That might sound silly to some, but as Balian says,
What man is a man who does not make the world better?
Ridley Scott has made a lot of movies. Some good, some not so good, some flat out bad, but every now and then he makes the kind of film that is the apex of the craft. And in my opinion, the director's cut of Kingdom of Heaven is his best movie. Controversial, I know, I understand the love for Alien and Blade Runner, I love them too, they're two of the greatest science fiction movies ever made, but neither one of them affected me as much as this did, and it is a crime that so few have seen it as it was intended to be seen. So please, for all that is good and holy, give this movie a watch, because in the end, the director's cut of Kingdom of Heaven is unquestionably top-shelf cinema of the highest order. But that's enough for me. I'd like to hear what y'all thought now. Like, comment, or subscribe if you feel so inclined, but more importantly, until next time, stay safe out there.